While I generally refrain from diving into the often tumultuous realm of celebrity relationships, the situation between Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner piqued my interest due to its potential ties with narcissism and narcissistic abuse. Upon exploring the details, I noticed some patterns emerging and I thought, why not share them with you? One thing to note though, it's challenging to grasp the entire truth from an outsider's perspective, which is why my aim in this episode is not to call anybody a narcissist, but to identify patterns through connecting dots, weaving together a more comprehensive narrative. Let's dive deep and explore the ongoing situation together. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. Welcome to my channel where I talk about everything related to narcissistic abuse. If that sounds interesting, please consider subscribing before we begin because your subscription can help spread awareness about narcissistic abuse. Whispers about the dissolution of the couple's marriage were finally confirmed when Joe filed for divorce on September 5th. Ever since, there has been endless talk and guesswork about why they might have chosen to go their separate ways. However, to get an accurate idea of what is presently happening in the relationship, we need to peek into its past. Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner met in 2016 and got engaged in 2017. They had a surprise wedding in Las Vegas in May 2019 and were married for 4 years. They have 2 daughters, Willa, and a second daughter whose name is unknown. If you step back and look at the possible pattern here, you may notice that all of this resembles the love bombing stage of a narcissistic relationship because things are happening so quickly. When with a narcissist, you do not get to know the real person that the narcissist is. You get to see the person they know you want them to be. They cast an illusion that fogs your judgment, making you feel you have found the one you've always been looking for. When asked in an interview, when did you realize you're going to marry Joe Jonas? This is what Sophie replied.
When did you realize, you go, oh, I think I'm gonna marry Joe Jonas?
I mean, the first night I met him, I remember, like, he left my apartment, and it may have been the alcohol, but, like, he left.
What was the apartment? You just came over for a date?
He didn't come over. No, I'm not that forward. We went out and we hung out at a bar with, like, all my friends and all his friends, and then they all came back to my apartment, and we had drinks after.
Yeah.
And I remember him leaving, and I just, like, wept. I wept to my brother. I was like, I love this man so much. And I knew, and that was it.
That's who you knew, yeah.
The lack of clarity and presence of intensity doesn't make it look so good. And then the speed at which everything happened makes it seem as though she was idealized and then love bombed. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. The second and biggest red flag is that they broke up just a day before their marriage and patched up at God's speed, leading to their marriage. This doesn't sit well with me either because in a narcissistic relationship, you experience extremes. The narcissist blows hot and cold and you keep going through mini discards before the final one happens. Conflicts in a relationship are okay, but completely turning cold towards each other just a day before your marriage, not okay. The third red flag is Joe allegedly flipping the narrative on Sophie to prove she is not committed to the relationship and is an absent mother. According to an article published by TMZ, a media organization, Joe filed for divorce because she likes to party, he likes to stay at home. They have very different lifestyles, contradicting another article published by the same media outlet. This another article says, quote unquote, after their youngest child was born, Sophie didn't want to leave their home. She didn't want to be photographed or go to events. Nevertheless, she attended several events with Joe, but at one specific event, several people who were there said Sophie made it clear she was uncomfortable and didn't want to be there. Shortly after that event, there was another in which Joe attended, but Sophie didn't. Our resources say Joe complained Sophie was MIA, missing in action, and left and felt she needed to get out more. This contradiction points out the possible narcissistic pattern called smear campaigning and villainizing. To get as many people as possible on their side, a narcissist tries to control how other people see you when they cannot control you directly. As far as Sophie is concerned, her pattern has been the same. In one of her videos, she describes herself as an introvert and Joe as a social butterfly. Her unwillingness to go out partying is a possible manifestation of her nature, while Joe's attempt to change the narrative can be shape-shifting. Let's watch a small video together and discover how Sophie describes herself and Joe.
Yeah, I heard the divorce rates were up. Joe and I, it's actually kind of, everything seems to be working out in my favor here because Joe's he's a real social butterfly. So I struggle to kind of lock him down and have him just spend time with me. So it's like prison for him, but it's great for me. Yeah, I mean, I'm an introvert. I'm a homebody. If I could stay at home all day, I would. So this is great for me. I leave the house once a day anyway to walk my dogs, and then that's it. So,
well, that says a lot. Joe's recent PR stunt brings more clarity and makes all this seem like a massive yet covert smear campaign. On Wednesday, September 6th, he took his two daughters to breakfast with his nanny and allowed paparazzi to take pictures and show the world how amazing of a father he is. But would that have even been mentioned if it was Sophie? Possibly not. To me, it looks like classic Darvo, which stands for deny the attack, reverse the roles of victim and offender. I am a poor yet a fantastic father, and she is a neglectful mother who caused all of this and is now enjoying her life while I am taking all the responsibility. That seems to be the underlying message in all of this. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I think this stunt was also done to punish Sophie because she has been actively against non-consensually exposing her children to public attention. In an interview, Turner told Elle UK that she doesn't want her daughter to be caught up in the world of showbiz. She said, quote unquote, "I know what it can do to your mental health to be in this industry and to be photographed every day and have the comments. It's not something I want my daughter to deal with unless she says this is what I want to do." To make you feel powerless in a parenting situation, a narcissist will do exactly the opposite of what you want them to do or what is right for the children. They'll happily sacrifice the children if that means you will suffer or feel totally helpless before them, which openly displays their lack of empathy and consideration for others. TMZ article also mentions that Joe has been shopping divorce lawyers, which could be another narcissistic tactic and a major part of the subtle smear campaign he might be running. This may also be a disempowering move to make Sophie feel supportless, since she may be unable to hire one of those lawyers because of conflict of interest. As of lately, he has asked for joint custody, child support, and other stuff, which on the surface level may look fair, but is it? Given how much he has in comparison to Sophie and how she has just started working again, I think there is jealousy and a need to control driving his behavior. Narcissists create a financial strain on the other parent even when they have millions themselves, just to make the other person's life difficult and miserable. It has nothing to do with fairness. It is all about control and keeping the ties intact. My understanding is that he has been desperately trying to ruin her image, but the internet is not buying any of that, and that makes me so happy. People have been calling him out and showing him how petty he is. In one of his recent concerts, he openly yet indirectly reinforced his smear campaign. This is what he said.
It's been a crazy week. I just want to say, look, if you don't hear it from these lips, don't believe it, okay? And thank you, everyone, for the love and support to me and my family. I love you guys.
To connect all these dots, you have Taylor Swift, Joe's ex-girlfriend, explaining him in her Mr. Perfectly Fine song released in 2008. The surprising thing is, Sophie even posted it on her Instagram story, mentioning Taylor as if saying everything you have said in this song is spot on. So here is the bigger picture for you. There are clear patterns of manipulation, covert narcissism, smear campaigning, blame shifting, deflection, jealousy, and subtle grandiosity. Do you see these as well? Let me know in the comments if I have missed anything, and let's end this episode here. Thank you so much for staying with me. I'll talk with you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.